There's another guy playing in another Canadian market that I would equate to a star player you had that's come under fire a little bit, and that's Brady Tkachuk out in Ottawa. And I'm sure you saw that whole kerfuffle in that Vancouver game recently where he instigated that fight late, and people were calling him out, fans and people in the media, like, does Brady Tkachuk need to calm down? Is he too over emotional on the ice? I personally, like, I love the guy. I think that he is a great leader. He's one of the few bright spots on that team, to be fair. And he reminds me a lot of a guy that you had on those championship squads that had all the skill in the world. You know exactly where I'm going. You know exactly where I'm going. All the skill in the world. He'd piss you off, but he'd shove it right back in your face and he'd score a huge power play goal that probably ended up being the game winner, and he'd have a couple more points in like 7 penalty minutes. And that's Holdyn Lansink. And, Brady's a little bigger than him, but Holdyn was a guy that I doubt very much, Jason, that you ever had to wind Holdyn up to get ready for a game. You probably more had to rein him in a little bit. But I liked what Travis Green said after, where he said, look, I would rather have a guy that I have to reel back a little bit than somebody that I constantly have to light a fire under. Would you agree with that assessment, kind of comparing your experience with Lanny to this situation with Brady Tkachuk?
Oh, yes, I will agree with you that Holdyn Lansink and Brady Tkachuk are very similar in what they brought, like what Holdyn brought to our teams in Listowel and what Brady's doing in Ottawa. Play with their heart in their sleeve, care about the team, care about success, maybe get a little frustrated and, at times he's acting, I'm not going to say poorly, but just where it, again, gets frowned upon because he's playing with so much emotion and passion. I agree with everything that Travis said. When you have a player like that, like, again, I'm going to reference for Clarkey back to the Leafs. What is the last 7 years of the Leafs? What have we as fans been clamoring for out of a player? Somebody who was skilled, but somebody who played with emotion that it mattered. That
Wendell Clark,
and Brady's a pretty darn good, player to be compared to Wendell, right? Like in the new era. And I mean, the crazy thing, guys, is look what happened with Matthew. He leaves Calgary, where he was a great player, goes down to Florida, and instantly, like he was one of many good players, I would say, in Calgary in the NHL, but goes to Florida and everybody's like, we need the next Matthew Tkachuk. Ottawa, I hope, sees that and says, I can't lose Brady Tkachuk because he plays on the edge, right? All of a sudden you move that player out because you couldn't reel him in, Ryan, to use your words, and he goes off to another team and helps them hoist the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I agree. He would be the least of my. I just like really took umbrage with it, like these people in Ottawa, and I understand that the fan base has a lot to be upset about, trying to see if that team will get their act together. But he would be he wouldn't even be on my list of things to worry about. I was really confused by that mostly media driven narrative, and that's why we pick your brain, Brooksy, because you've been in there.
But that's another reason why why would
Yeah.
Calgary trade Nazem Kadri right now? They're playing well. They need a guy like that.
I don't know.
Anyway,
The Calgary going on Kadri, the only thing would be what you're getting. Again, if they are looking
100%.
to rebuild the thing and can move off a contract like Kadri's to add younger guys that can, join a younger core, they might contemplate that.
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, Robertson, Mitten.
I'm just saying, like,
Allen?
if I'm Craig Conroy, the first name on my lips, especially because the Leafs would need, for sure, some salary retention there.
Yeah.
If that's in there too, like the first name off my lips is Easton Cowan. I'm sorry. Like, you want to do business here and we give you our best center.
And what would you do?
I need Easton Cowan.
What would you say, Ryan?
If I'm the Leafs, Honestly, because look, they're in this window.
I
would
agree.
do the deal.
Yeah. You said the same about Nyes 2 years ago.
Yep. Yeah, I did. And I stand by that. But now Nyes has become such an integral part of the team. But Easton Cowan, guys, I see him all the time. He's a few years away here. And you're in this window where John Tavares is still on the team. Mitch Marner's still on the team. You're in this window where you're aiming for that big thing now.
No doubt. And I'm always a firm believer. And guys, this could be he could be worth the most he's ever going to be in a trade right now.
He very well could.
You never know.